All right, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to be together here on the eve of the 2024 International Religious Freedom Summit. For me, it's personally gratifying to see a lot of friendly faces and old friends. It's also nice to see many unfamiliar faces and hopefully friends to be. My name is Brett Scharffs, and I'm the director of the International Center for Law and Religion Studies and a professor of law at Brigham Young University. And it's our pleasure to be the sponsors of this evening's opening reception for the 2024 IRF Summit. I'd like to thank Sebastián Kraljevich, the ambassador to the OAS from Chile, who is the country sponsor of tonight's event. I'd also like to thank His Excellency Luis Almagro, the Secretary General of OAS, who is our host this evening in this beautiful venue. I'd also like to thank Katrina Lantos Swett and Sam Brownback, the co-chairs of the IRF Summit. We'll be hearing from each of these speakers later this evening. Everyone, we think, will be speaking quite briefly, but we're grateful that we'll hear a few words of welcome from each of them. Our first speaker this evening will be Ulisses Soares, a member of the Quorum of 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Ulisses Soares was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He and his wife, Rosana, are the parents of 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Elder Soares received a Bachelor of Arts degree in Accounting and Economics from the Sao Paulo Pontifical Catholic University and later received a Master of Business Administration degree from that university. Elder Soares has served in a number of church responsibilities, both on a local and general level, including serving in presidencies in Southern Africa and in the Brazil area, and as a mission president in Portugal. He was an accountant and an auditor for multinational corporations in Brazil and for the church. At the time of his call as a general authority, he was serving on a special assignment for the presiding bishopric of the church in Salt Lake City. He is a beloved leader of the church, not only in Latin America, but throughout the world. Please join me in welcoming Elder Soares.
Thank you for the introduction. Dear friends and distinguished guests, it is an honor to be here with you today. I'm grateful to the organizers of the International Religious Freedom Summit for inviting me to participate in the opening reception of this year's event. I also want to express my deep admiration for the diplomats, religious leaders, and others here who work diligently to protect the rights of others, to preserve freedom of religion worldwide. Your dedication to creating positive, lasting change is both noble and inspiring. We are very fortunate to be gathered here today in the historic House of the Americas, the headquarters of the Organization of American States. More than a century old, this remarkable building brings together architectural styles from the Spanish colonial area, the indigenous cultures of the Americans, and European influences. It occurs to me that the very bones of this building are symbolic of the diverse set of cultures and peoples who call the Americas their home. It is no wonder this building was given the name of House of the Americas. What stands out most to me in this hall are the shields with the word Pax, the Latin word for peace. These shields serve as a powerful reminder of the ultimate goal of both diplomacy and religion, peace. both at home and abroad. The United States Declaration and Program of Action on a Culture of Peace defines peace as consisting of not only the absence of conflict, but also requires a positive, dynamic, participatory process where dialogue is encouraged and conflicts are solved in a spirit of mutual understanding and cooperation. In other words, peace is not passive. It requires dialogue and action to protect it and spread it throughout society. That dialogue is not limited to wonderful diplomats like many of you who are skilled at resolving conflicts through words rather than violence. As the Swiss priest and theologian Hans Kung observed, there will be no peace among the nations without peace among the religions. There will be no peace among the religions without dialogue among the religions. Along with the dialogue, protecting human rights is crucial to preserving peace. These basic rights, outlined in national constitutions and international agreements like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, are the foundation of a just society. Rights such as freedom of opinion, expression, thought, conscience, and religion are essential for communities to thrive. As religious, government, and community leaders, it is our responsibility to strongly support the protection of human rights worldwide. Respect for fundamental human rights is the cornerstone of a peaceful society, and among these, religious freedom holds a prominent place. Researchers Brian Greene and Roger Fink have noted that the denial of religious freedom is inevitably intertwined with the denial of other freedoms. The protection of religious freedom is not just a moral imperative, but also a key to peace and stability. A recent Pew Research Center report revealed that laws, policies, and actions restricting religious belief are at an all-time high, impacting 198 countries and territories surveyed. Although authoritarian regimes may claim that religious freedom leads to division and conflict, research shows that religion actually strengthens communities. Studies in the US and worldwide show that people who regularly participate in religious congregations and communities tend to be happier and more civilly engaged. An inspiring example comes from the Americas. Despite growing religious diversity in my native Brazil, the population has avoided major sectarian conflict. Religious freedom scholar Brian Greene observed that, given the level of religious switching in Brazil, it is particularly notable that there have been no reported incidents of hostility over conversions or proselytism. Though far from perfect, tension has been managed through dialogue between the various religious communities. Faith, in all its forms, empowers and helps us to find purpose. It fosters respect for others and the world we live in. Religion encourages personal responsibility, hard work, and strengthening our families. These virtues flowing from a flourishing and diverse religious landscape serve to mend and tighten the fabric of our shared world in ways perhaps nothing else can, leading in turn to the united and peaceful societies for which we yearn. It is imperative to remember that yearning does not mean waiting. We can choose individually to offer more than just thoughts and prayers for the things we hope for. We can choose to be peacemakers now. President Russell M. Nelson, the prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, recently spoke on the need for peacemakers in the world. He emphasized that one of the best ways to promote peace is to avoid contention, which may seem difficult in a world marked by violence, online shaming, and intense political divisions. Though disagreements in life are inevitable and health conflict resolution can lead to positive outcomes, we must ensure that differences in perspectives do not lead to harshness, unkindness, or disrespect toward others. President Nelson notes that contention reinforces the false notion that confrontation is the way to resolve differences, but it never is. Contention How? By modeling how to manage honest differences of opinions with mutual respect and dignified dialogue. While peace building does not always come easily or naturally, it is a prize worthy of our finest and most determined efforts. As Thomas Merton so profoundly put it, peace demands the most heroic labor and the most difficult sacrifice. It demands greater heroism than war. It demands greater fidelity to the truth and a much more perfect purity of conscience. The reward for such sacrifice and labor, however, is a gift that transcends even this world. Blessed are the peacemakers, Jesus taught, for they shall be called the children of God. May we each consider how we may become better peacemakers at home and abroad, and may God's blessings be upon you and the most honorable cause. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you, Elder Soares. We'd like to excuse him as he has another speaking engagement at the Global Faith Forum this evening. As you may know, in order for us to gather here, we have to have a country sponsor that is a member of the Organization of American States, and that country sponsor is Chile. And that country is in the person of Ambassador Sebastián Kraljevich, who is the ambassador to the Organization of American States from Chile. Sebastián Kraljevich has led and integrated multidisciplinary teams to design and implement communication strategies for candidates, governments, civil society organizations, political parties, media outlets, and companies in various countries across the Americas. He holds a degree in sociology from the University of Chile and a master's in political management from George Washington University. He has been a guest professor at institutions such as the UNESCO Chair, UNAM in Mexico, the University of Chile, and since 2013, he has been an adjunct professor in the Master's in Political Science program at the Pontifical Catholic University in Chile. Ambassador Kraljevich, the floor is yours.
Good night. It's a great honor for Chile to be one of the hosts of this reception here at the Organization of American States. I know many of you are wondering why Chile, a secular state with an agnostic president, President Boric, is so active, so committed when we talk about religious freedom. And this is a legitimate question, by the way. In this continent, in the Americas, we have many, many leaders who claim to have God's endorsement. But that's not the case of President Boric. So why Chile is so active in this issue? It's because we believe in democracy. We work for healthier and deeper democracy in all the Americas. Our shared belief is that there is no democracy without religious freedom. And as we have learned in the Americas, it's hard to defend religious freedom without defending democracy, secular democracy. Let me be clear. A secular and democratic state does not restrict religious freedom. On the contrary, it strengthens, guarantees, and enables it through an inclusive and with a dialogical approach. Freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, as one of the fundamental rights guarantees in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as Elder Ulisses pointed just recently, is grounded in the principles of universality, interdependence, indivisibility, and progressivity of human rights. But in the same way we have universal commitments, it is essential to zoom in and address the many different approaches to these issues in all the Americas. Because the secular states in the Americas should always be expressed in the plural. Each country, each people has its own history of developing the separation of church and state, and understanding these stories helps to create a shared understanding of the principles that uphold this separation. In this sense, in Chile, we believe in approaching the secularity of the state from a pluralistic, inclusive, dialogical perspective, recognizing the constitutive value of religion in all the identities in the Americas. The plurality of confessions or creeds and beliefs present the challenge of achieving genuine inclusivity in exercising democracy because, as we previously said, we believe this is a fundamental part of democratic life. That's why this meeting of religious leaders, scholars, and government officials is so precious to Chile. You are gathering here to develop a healthy relationship of equal treatment and collaborative alliance to face the many challenges affecting our region and the world. Your presence, your action is crucial in addressing these issues, like poverty, climate emergency, inequalities, institutional lack of trust, hate speeches, and so on. As we learned with pain in the Americas, prosecuting religious freedom and political instrumentalization of religion for partisan purposes are just two sides of the same coin. Using religious language for ideological purposes weakens the very principle of freedom of religion and faith. So what's the opposite of persecution and political instrumentalization? Dialogue, inclusion, mutual understanding, and then a healthy and deep democracy. This is why we are committed and sponsor these valuable and necessary meetings through the work of our National Office of Religious Affairs with Omar and Amador here present, which is dedicated to foster dialogue, promoting inclusivity, and protecting religious freedom both in Chile and beyond. It is well written in our history that religious life and faith-based organizations are a key part of our democracy. The work of many religious institutions, such as the Vicaría de la Solidaridad, was crucial in protecting human rights and fighting for democracy in the 70s and 80s under the dictatorship of Pinochet. Now, 50 years later, we recognize faith communities and field response communities, highlighting their importance in collaborating to address social problems and strengthening the connection between state institutions and faith-based organizations to jointly build peace, social justice, and equality. We have seen a recent example of that in Chile during emergencies such as fires or floods, both expressions of this climate emergency, where an interfaith collaboration network coordinates contributions to the families affected. In the regional arena, that is why we are one of the proposals of the resolution regarding human rights and religious freedom in the last OAS General Assembly, and I can tell you in advance that we will lead this conversation again ahead of the next General Assembly of the Organization of American States to be held in June 2025 in Antigua and Barbuda. We have learned both in our history and our present the value of religious freedom and how we can protect it through good practices by the state administration, including respectful treatment, understanding, and acceptance of the plurality of religions and beliefs. This is why meetings like the one you are having these days are so instrumental for Chile, despite or precisely because we have an agnostic president. Our country and our government are committed to these fundamental values and ready to work together with you to enhance and defend them. Thank you very much.
I'm really pleased that this IRF summit will have, I think, an increased participation of voices from Latin America. I'm really excited to introduce you to a really remarkable political leader, His Excellency Luis Almagro, Secretary General of the Organization of American States. Luis Almagro was re-elected as Secretary General of the OAS in 2020, after first taking office in 2015. He has focused on advancing democracy, human rights, and security across the Americas. A key advocate for defending democracy, Almagro has led efforts on issues such as the crisis in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba, and has played a significant role in electoral observation missions across the region. Almagro has also modernized OAS communications, significantly increasing its presence on social media. Previously, he has served as Uruguay's foreign minister from 2010 to 2015, where he oversaw landmark initiatives such as Uruguay's role in global diplomacy and humanitarian efforts, including taking in former Guantanamo prisoners and granting asylum to Syrian families. A career diplomat, Almagro has been Uruguay's ambassador to China and served in several other key diplomatic roles. He is a lawyer by profession, speaks 3 languages, and is a father of 7. I've lost one of my pages. At the time of his election to the OAS, he was serving as foreign minister of Uruguay. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency Luis Almagro.
Bienvenido. welcome to the House of the Americas. Welcome to the whole of the Americas.
It is an honor to be here with you. The discussions at the United States Institute of Peace during the Second Inter-American Ministerial Meeting on Religious Affairs have undoubtedly been valuable and timely. Freedom of religion and conscience are fundamental pillars of human dignity and are essential for creating just and equitable societies. The variety of beliefs in our communities highlights just how crucial respect and tolerance are. In any society, atheists, agnostics, Catholics, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, and other faiths coexist, and guaranteeing their peaceful coexistence is the duty of all. Persecuting someone because of their faith goes against the principles of democracy and human rights, goes against the principle of any religion, goes against the principle of human dignity. It is essential for countries to actively work on protecting these rights. Our hemisphere is a cultural and religious mosaic. Promoting religious freedom not only strengthens coexistence, but also foster dialogue and cooperation, and also foster the best of every individual. An inspiring example that I witnessed was the flag-raising ceremony in Guyana in 2023, where Christian, Hindu, Muslims, and indigenous leaders shared prayers in an act of mutual respect. The ceremony, which culminated with prayer in Wapichan indigenous language, is in my memory as an exercise of deep respect and harmony. But it is not always easy to handle this difference in beliefs, and we still have a lot of challenges to overcome. In several countries of the Americas, religious discrimination persists. Protecting freedom of worship not only strengthens democracy, but also helps prevent radicalization and violence. The OAS reaffirmed this commitment in the 2023 Declaration on the Promotion and Protection of Freedom of Religion and Beliefs, emphasizing that guaranteeing this right is a fundamental responsibility of states. That's why I agree with the statement issued by the Institute for Peace in March 2024, in which it emphasized the imperative mandate for OAS member states to work together in promoting religion freedom, and it ensures stability and security, positively manages diversity, and prevents the growth of extremism in the Americas. How else can we put an end to anti-Semitism, the political and religious persecution of Catholics, Christians, and Muslims, and Islamophobia, and the arbitrary detention of those who practice their religious beliefs, along with other discriminatory violations that affect the lives of many people in the hemisphere? By engaging in interfaith dialogue and cooperation initiatives like this summit hosted by Fidela and other faith-based partners, communities can build bridges of understanding and respect. These interactions help dismantle stereotypes and foster a sense of unity among diverse groups. To achieve lasting peace and security in the Americas, we must learn to live together, to coexist. This requires collective intelligence. This requires collective commitment to promote religious freedom, embrace diversity, and reject bigotry and discrimination. Your efforts help create a region that values diversity and builds peace based on rights. By protecting, defending, and expanding these rights, we are promoting something we believe strongly in: more rights for more people. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Almagro. As I've been thinking about this IRF summit, an idea has come to my mind repeatedly, and it is an idea that goes back to Aristotle, the idea of civic friendship. If there's one idea that I hope we'll focus upon over the next 2 days, it is this idea of civic friendship. Friendship across differences, a friendship that devoutly rejects the dichotomy between friend and enemy. It's perhaps summed up in Abraham Lincoln's statement that the best way to destroy an enemy is to make him a friend. One of my projects this year is to try to complete a book I've been working on about Abraham Lincoln. And in preparing for this ministerial, or this IRF summit, the ministerial today and the IRF summit over the next 2 days, I've been thinking about the final words of Lincoln's first inaugural address. They'll be familiar. He said, "I am loath to close. We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic cords of memory, stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone all over this broad land, will yet swell the chorus of the Union when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature." Unfortunately, a month later, the Civil War began, and it took 4 long years of brutal warfare for the better angels to prevail. And some social scientists say that we have never been as divided politically as we are now since the Civil War. And hence my plea for civic friendship. Somewhere over the next 2 days, I hope each of us will find someone very different from ourselves and begin a friendship that will last beyond the time of this gathering. When I think of civic friendship, there is no one that better embodies this, I think, than the 2 chairs of this great gathering. Sam and Katrina, could I ask you to come up? I'm going to give the final word to them. Katrina Lantos Swett is the daughter of Tom and Annette Swett, refugees from Hungary. Her father, Lantos is their name, Tom and Annette Lantos. He was the only Holocaust survivor ever elected to Congress, and he became one of the great leaders of the human rights movement in the United States. Katrina graduated from Yale at the age of 18. Yes, you heard that right. She didn't begin Yale at 18, she finished. She later got a JD from UC Hastings and married Richard, who is here, and together they are the parents of 7 children and 16 grandchildren. I know this because I am a fortunate recipient of their Christmas letter, which featured the 16 grandchildren this year. She was chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom and serves now as co-chair of the IRF Summit. Sam Brownback is a Jayhawk. He is a graduate both of Kansas State and Kansas University of Kansas, as any good aspiring Kansas politician should be. And Sam, I was trying to remember, BYU played Kansas in basketball last February. Can you remind me who won that game?
That one isn't as touchy as the football game you beat us. K-State football game.
Yeah, I was thinking you might bring up the football game, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be wearing a BYU tie tonight. So I'm not sure about that. He served both as senator and governor of Kansas, and then was ambassador for religious freedom during the first Trump administration, and is co-chair of the IRF Summit. Together with his wife, Mary, he is the father of 5 children. So sorry, Sam, Katrina wins. 7 over 5, plus she gave birth. I have no idea how many grandchildren you have because
11.
I'm not on your Christmas card list. So maybe we can fix that. I think if we were trying to find the platonic ideal of a civic friendship, we would probably just download the image of Sam and Katrina. Different sexes, different religions, different political parties, a lot of differences, but I imagine that if we asked each of them to create a list of their dearest and most cherished friends, each other would appear on both of their lists. So I will say nothing further. I am going to give the floor to you, and after you've finished your remarks, we can return to the reception, and please stay and enjoy each other's company for as long as you'd like. Katrina, Sam, the floor is yours.
What a wonderfully fun introduction. That did my heart good. Before I make my remarks, I just want to take a moment to recognize some officials who are here in the audience with us, who today, they're part of the Fidela group, and they have spent the day in a series of meetings and discussions, all dealing with the importance of international religious freedom, and we would love to have the chance to recognize you. So can I ask you all to please stand so we can recognize you? Please. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your commitment to this incredibly important cause. I have to say that I have a new sense of affinity with the Secretary General because I did not know that His Excellency also has 7 children. So we have an automatic bond. How many boys and how many girls?
4 boys, 3 girls.
4 boys and 3 girls, and I have 4 girls and 3 boys. But it's a pretty good match up there. And how many grandchildren?
2.
Oh my gosh, only 2 grandchildren. You'll have to put me in touch with your children so I can tell them to get to work. Well, technically, this is the opening reception of the IRF Summit, although there have already been some really exciting and meaningful activities that took place today. And I'm coming to you almost directly from one of the really special gatherings that happens. It is organized as an opportunity for different faith communities, all of which are facing persecution of one kind or another, to advocate on each other's behalfs. And it's a very special occasion. So we have people from the Jewish community speaking on behalf of the Yazidis, or from the Hindu community speaking on behalf of Muslims, all sorts of demonstrations of exactly the sort of civic friendship and mutual respect and genuine desire and genuine belief of the fundamental importance of protecting and defending each other's rights. I think what makes the IRF Summit different from any other such gathering that I've ever been part of is we are not here on our own behalf. We are here on each other's behalf, and we do understand that the rights of one are the rights of all, that when we defend another persecuted community, we are doing more to shore up the protection and the value and the respect of our own. And I have to say that I am so full of admiration. Really, it's much more than civic friendship and affection, but a genuine and deep love for the senior partner in this endeavor, which is my dear friend, Ambassador Brownback. He was an extraordinary ambassador at large for religious freedom. He broke ground in so many incredible ways, and really sort of put energy and passion and a determination to move the ball down the field into the whole international religious freedom movement. And so it was a very lucky and blessed day in my life when he asked if I would be interested in being his partner in this endeavor. And we have, I think, done some good together, and really have, I hope, modeled what it means to put your shoulder to the wheel as fellow travelers in this great cause. Now, at the event I attended previously, I shared a story that I absolutely love, which I think sort of embodies what we're talking about, both in terms of how we overcome the difficulty. I think you were the one, Secretary General, who said, it's hard. You know, we don't want to be naive. We don't want to be Pollyannas and say, oh, it's easy, just wave a magic wand. You know, it's not hard for people with vastly different beliefs and traditions and cultures and ethnic and racial backgrounds to just get along. It is hard, it is challenging, and no doubt that in part explains why we have so many difficulties around the world as it relates to the protection and defense of religious freedom. But this story I love because it is a story told by one of the tiniest religious minority communities in the world, and that is the Zoroastrians. I don't know, are there any adherents to the Zoroastrian faith among us tonight? Okay, I don't see any hands going up. It's a very small community with a fascinating history dating back many, many centuries. You may have heard the sort of simple three-part motto, if you will, of that community, which is good thoughts, good words, good deeds, a beautiful and a simple universal message. But there's a really special story that is told within that community. And I don't know if it's based in actual history or more in the nature of a myth, but it's one that I love and one that I think has a lot of relevance and lessons for us, especially as we gather tonight in the House of the Americas. I love that name. And by the way, I've never had the privilege of being at the OAS headquarters, and it's so beautiful. It's just a very special place to be. So, a community of Parsi, that's another name for that Zoroastrian community, was fleeing from their homeland, facing persecution. What's old is new and what's new is old. And they came to India, to the province of Gujarat, where they hoped to find refuge and sanctuary. And the king of that Gujarat province sent forth his emissary to basically say, no, there is no room for you here. You cannot stay. You are not welcome. And to manifest this, the king sent a large jug full of milk right up to the brim. And his point was, there's no room. We're full up. You're not welcome. You have to turn back and go somewhere else. Well, the leader of this Farsi band, this Parsi community, reached into his satchel and pulled out a spoonful of sugar. And he took the jug of milk and poured the sugar into it, where it dissolved. It didn't overflow the jug. It didn't cause any difficulty, but it did sweeten the milk. And his message back, of course, was, if you accept us, if you'll let us be part of this community, we will not disrupt it. We will not change it in ways that will alarm you, but we will make it better. We will make it sweeter. We'll become part of you. Now, there's another version of the story where the Parsi leader takes a gold ring and gently drops it into the milk. And again, no catastrophe ensues, but he is sending a message: we will enrich you. If you will extend the hand of friendship, if you will open your door to us, if you will let us stay and seek sanctuary here, you will be richer for it, and we will both be blessed. It's such a lovely story. It's such a beautiful story. It's such an instructive story, because in many parts of the world, including in my own country, there are too many who are inclined to say, no, you're not welcome, or no, we don't need to listen to each other, or no, I have nothing to learn from you. And yet, nothing could be further from the truth. And that is the sort of spirit that we hope imbues the Earth Summit, the sort of spirit that leads to the building of civic friendships and civic affection and mutual respect, and the recognition that if somehow in this remarkable and central quest that we are all on, seeking after truth, who are we? Why are we here? Where did we come from? What is the purpose of our existence? You know, human beings are the only creatures on this planet hardwired to ask those profound questions. And we, at the Earth Summit, and all of you are in the business of both defending their right to ask those questions, and then very importantly, defending their right to live their lives in accordance with the answers they receive, the truths they find. And as we look around, we see such an incredible, stunning, magnificent, and uplifting variety of answers that people have gotten as they have pursued that quest. And if we defend each other's fundamental conscience rights, fundamental belief rights, not only will our own be protected, but like that spoonful of sugar in that jar of milk, our lives will be sweetened and enriched. So thank you all, and thank you to the Secretary General and the OAS for helping us start this 2025 Earth Summit in such a beautiful setting and with such a beautiful spirit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, Katrina. And Katrina has been just a great co-chair, and it's been a wonderful partnership to work with her. Thank you very much, Organization of American States. This is one of my favorite buildings in Washington. I love the architecture, I love the layout of it, and it just got great symbolism. And I look forward for us working with you more and more on religious freedom issues. The line that you said here, the quote about there will be no peace among the nations until there is peace among the religions, I just couldn't agree with more. I think that is a fantastic observation. I've thought at one point in time, and we kicked it around for this meeting, we weren't there fast enough for it, or we didn't get organized quick enough, we ought to sign a peace treaty between the religions. We ought to have major leaders of all the world's major religions and minor ones, as many would sign it, a peace treaty that we will not persecute each other. Our theology does not support the persecution of somebody that's simply different. Now, many religions have a just war doctrine as to why there is a reason that we can go to war, but it should never include, and it, to my knowledge, never includes just because they're different, or they believe in a different God or worship differently than us. And what a gift to the world if the religions would sign a peace treaty with each other. So maybe that'll be our next year project, and we can work on it with the OAS. I think the engagement of the religious freedom topic in a robust way by OAS will be a great gift to the world. Certainly be a great gift to our region. It'll be a great model for people around the world, and so I'm looking forward to working with you more. We're very honored you would host us here at this event. I look forward to it. We've had a wonderful first day. This is a beautiful kickoff. I hope many of the ministers can stick around for the next couple of days at the overall event, because we're going to have a series of speakers that I think are really going to knock your socks off of what they have experienced and their route forward and the hope they have for the persecution of people of faith to decline in the world, not go up, but to decline, and for that to lead to peace. Thank you for being here. Look forward to visiting with you tonight. God bless you all. Thank you all.